Hey everybody. So with tomorrow's solar eclipse and in 2 weeks being the lunar eclipse, we are now in the hole of the dragon with this eclipse season. So I want to talk a little bit about this. So first I want to just talk about how this eclipse that starts to the eclipse for tomorrow, the solar eclipse tomorrow, where the sun will be at 21 degrees Libra and the moon will be at 21 degrees Libra. They'll be together and it'll be a partial solar eclipse as it's still a little too far away from the south node for it to be a real big eclipse. We're still definitely going to see it. We're going to feel it. However, it's not as impactful. It's really impactful, but it's not as impactful as it would be if it was a full, like really close to that eclipse, solar eclipse point, the solar south node point. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how the season affects us. And I wanted to mention how with the solar eclipse, this is really the beginning of the next 18-month cycle. So it's on the axis of Aries and Libra, which is the I-we axis of the zodiac. And so it's really going to shake up things around what are my individual needs versus relationship needs. What do I want and care about in my relationship, and how is that being satisfied or not being satisfied? So it's really going to stir up those themes over the next 18 months. And that begins with the solar eclipse tomorrow. Also, I wanted to just make a point of saying I am a traditional, I bring in some modern twists and psychological twists and archetypal twists to my astrology. However, I'm very much a traditional astrologer as well. And so I do follow those traditional schemes of not putting my crystals out for eclipses. The ancients would not do anything that would really initiate anything like any starting of new programs or starting new regimens or starting maybe beginning a new routine or taking new medicines or things that are just like new beginning things. No, this is not the new moon for that. If it wasn't an eclipse, we would definitely be going there. However, with this eclipse, because of the factor of the light being cut off with the moon and the way that it works, it's cutting off our major source of light. And therefore, we don't want to set big intentions around this time. It's really good to be able to focus on what do we want to release and let go of, especially with the South Node being in Libra in relationships. And so South Node is the node of letting go. The Vedics call the nodes Rahu and Ketu. And so this place of the head and the tail of the dragon. So the head of the dragon is give me more, give me more, give me more, which is Aries in this case of this eclipse season. And the tail is at the Libra point, which is, the tail is let me get rid of, like when you think of like processing through, we eat it all in and we have to get rid of it. So it's really that getting rid of. So those things around relationships and the things that we value are shedding those ideas and the ideas that we have around them. Maybe it's just stuck where it's just, maybe you're just like been feeling these shifts in the relationship coming, not quite sure what to do or where to go with it. whatever's going to happen there, this is most likely the time. Now, the eclipse point, usually we begin to feel the eclipses, like like I can't speak, the eclipse energy about a week before, and it can last up to 90 days out. So it's not necessarily something that you're going to feel immediately at the point of the eclipse, which tomorrow is 1:55 p.m. Here in Indiana. So you would adjust for your time zone is how that works. So it's not going to necessarily be like at this time you're going to like feel this total shift of I'm just not wanting any more of this and be gone with you and I'm over it. You might, but you may be feeling that leading up to this point for the last week, and it may carry out over the course of the next 90 days. So this energy, it holds. And so the energy that happens during eclipses, it holds for a while. It takes some time for it to come through. With it being an air sign, it's going to be more around, it's going to be a little quicker. Air moves a little faster than Earth, for an example. So it's going to have a more quick movement to it. However, the effects, we might not know the full story until, about 90 days before we really begin to get to the other side of that. And whatever that is, that story that's going to play out, it's going to be long lasting. So make sure that whatever story is playing out for you, that it's truly what you're looking for, because whatever that decision is, it's going to be a long-lasting decision. So some other things that are going on this month, we've had a lot of shifts. So, first, Mercury shifted out of Virgo and is currently in Libra. He is going to be moving out of Libra really fast, like next week on the 23rd. So, got a week and a half before he's out of Libra. So he's moving really fast right now, more than a couple of degrees a day. So we've got that going on. We also have Venus that just moved out of Leo, which, she was in Leo for a really long time, into practical, pragmatic Virgo. She doesn't like Virgo so much. It doesn't feel good for her. However, the sun is ruled by Venus, and Mars recently a couple of days ago, moved into Scorpio, where he's been in Libra for the last couple of months, since the end of August. Mars does not like Libra at all. So Mars is now in his place of his house, like he's like the king of his own castle. The king has come home to his castle with Mars in Scorpio. Mars loves being in Scorpio. He's as fierce and as stealth and, as powerful as he can be in his own sign. And the sun, being in Libra, is also in her domicile, meaning, the queen is home in her domicile. And so we've got the sun and Venus, ruled by Venus, and Mars, in his placement of Scorpio. And so this air and water and, this masculine, feminine, there's this dance between the masculine and feminine around power, around beauty, around control, around desire. So Libra is one of Venus's two home signs. So in Libra, Venus is about what is mentally stimulating me, the arts and music, versus Taurus, which is what is physically stimulating me, our sensual desires, our five senses. And so Venus, loves the idea of beauty, and she steps into that beautiful place and wants the beauty to be around her. And Mars is very much around control and power. And so with Venus in her home sign and Mars in his, we're going to feel a lot of shakeup around that power and control dynamics, between that masculine and feminine energy. So it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, we each have those energies within us. And so there's going to be this power dynamic between these energies that are going to be happening until the sun changes sign and when Mars changes sign, but the sun changes sign first. So that'll be on the 23rd of this month. And so we've got, in the next week and a half or so. So Mercury and the sun move around the same time, which is kind of interesting, but I'll talk more about that in a future video. So going back to tomorrow's eclipse. So this is really all about letting go. This is not a time to begin new things, new projects, new creations. It's not about birthing in things. This is not the energy to do that. So I'm not saying not to do new moon intentions. However, if it's something that's going to be about a new beginning of some sort, I suggest that you wait. I suggest that you give it a couple of days until we're on the other side of, give it a little bit of space. After the moon shifts out of Libra and goes into Scorpio, on Sunday, Monday, right around there. So it'll be a better time to really go in and work with that energy a little bit more, as we'll still be in that new moon phase of the cycle before we get into, that next phase. So I just encourage you to not follow your standard protocol with this. So the new moon eclipse, with it being in an air sign, it can have a tendency to shake up things around electronics, wind, air pollution, the air we breathe, the weather systems. So not uncommon to see our technology kind of getting a little crazy. Anything around that realm of air can so electricity, can get jarred a bit. So technology, electricity, the air we breathe, weather systems, hurricanes, major storms, things like that. So we may see a little craziness around some of those things, either at a personal level or a global level. So just want you to be aware of this energy as we are working with it. And just taking a look at my notes just to see if there's anything here that I am missing. So a couple of things. So eclipses really bring about major endings or major beginnings. So, eclipses don't necessarily have to be a bad thing. More often than not, they're a little bit more on the negative side, but it doesn't have to be on the negative side. So it can be a major shift with something just falling away and allowing that new to come in. And also with Libra season, with this Libra new moon happening, it's very much about the seasonal shifts, and Libra is about balance in our body. And so really being able to, the seasonal shifts of spring and fall, that Aries Libra axis. Aries is April, Libra obviously October. So that fall spring shift is really works with that energy of balance and regaining balance. So we've been going and doing and having all of the things over the last several months. It's now time to bring that balance into our bodies, regain our footing, so to speak, get back into balance of the things that have fallen out of balance over the course of the last season or so. And it's just really a shift. And so it's a great time to really self-reflect. This eclipse can be really helpful for any type of spiritual awakenings. It can be really helpful for just utilizing this energy of going deep within and really asking yourself, what no longer serves me and what do I want to bring in? Also, I wanted to mention that as we are in this dragon hall, so to speak, of these two eclipses between the new moon and the full moon, um, in Scorpio on October 28th, that full moon in a couple of weeks in Scorpio is going to be, did I say that right? The full moon that's happening on October 28th is really the closing of the cycle. It's going to be closing of the last 18-month cycle. So those of you who are Taurus and Scorpios, there's been a major shift for you over the last 18 months, some major chapters unfolding. And we're going to be closing those chapters out. So eclipse cycles have a tendency to overlap. And so this overlap happens where we're starting this new cycle tomorrow as we're closing out the old cycle from the last 18 months in 2 weeks on the full moon. So as you're planning your Halloween, just know that it's going to be a little cray-cray out there. And keep that in mind with your Halloween plans. With it also being eclipse, I'll be shying away from major things, you know, the major events that I would really love to participate in. I'll be shying away from those because I don't want to be caught up in that. And you know, you can too if that feels right for you. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that in 2 weeks we're closing out this shift. We're closing out this cycle that we've been going through. And we are beginning this new cycle, this Aries Libra cycle, which is this relationship is no longer working. The way that it's been working is no longer working for me. Something needs to give, something needs to shift. That dynamic is no longer, it's just not happening the way that it needs to for me any longer. And what am I going to do about it? And the Aries side of that is I have the autonomy to love myself and be my best self for myself and to partner myself the way I would like to be partnered. And that way we can approach our relationships with, I am full, I am whole as a whole person, meeting another whole person versus looking for someone who's going to bring us wholeness. So over the course of the next 18 months, that's going to be the story. So you might feel a little bit more selfish with your time and your energy, and that can be okay if that serves you. And it might feel a little icky on the other side of that. If you're someone who's a little more needy, someone who just really needs that other person's attention a lot more than you're getting it, it might feel a little difficult because it's that side that needs to be let go of so that you can give yourself the energy that you're lacking so that you can be a complete person and be completely online. This is the shift that we're going to be experiencing over the next 18 months. And so, with that said, I hope that each of you have an incredible day. Take care now.